negative posts.
It's a sad but pretty authentic depiction of pro wrestling fans, Pasty.
It's
you
ridiculous.
and I are few. We're some of the few. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say I am super proud of her being a trans woman. I think it's amazing. I think it's awesome, and I have no problem with her being a trans woman competing in the women's division. I think that's awesome and should be applauded. Not only that, she represents the Native American community, and I support her full-heartedly as a Native American, as a trans woman, as a trans Native American. I think it's awesome. She represents the Oneida Nation, and I'm so proud of that. I haven't watched for quite a few weeks just because I've been super busy, but I noticed at least today, or not today, but Wednesday when she was competing, I noticed that she had the MMIW, which is the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's handprint, on her, what I would call a breechcloth. I don't know what they call it in wrestling, but on her uniform, on her outfit.
Yeah.
She has, which is basically a red hand that normally goes over the face of women, but the red handprint she has on her breechcloth represents all missing and murdered Indigenous women that nobody looks for, cares about, or gives a damn about. They're Indigenous women, and when they go missing, don't show up, nobody cares. They're just considered gone. Fuck them. I thought that was super awesome that she represents that. She represents the nation, and I'm going to give it up to AEW. I've been super excited for them before they came out, and I've been fairly critical of them since they've come out, and I still will.
Yeah.
But on this one alone, on this part alone, the fact that they're willing to make a trans Native woman the face of their women's division, the champion, that takes balls, and there's no pun intended there, folks. That is so awesome. I stand behind Nyla. I stand behind the Oneida Nation. I stand behind MMIW. I stand behind AEW. I stand behind Cody and the Bucks and Omega and Khan and everybody that they actually put this out there and gave her the rub, because I wasn't sure where it was going to go. I originally thought, Riho is probably the best choice for the first one, but Nyla Rose had the best backstory, and I had my personal opinions.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very solid run, and I see it not ending until it's in a multiple woman match. You know what I mean? She's going to continue to be dominant. And AEW did a really good thing. At the end of last year, they pulled her. I think they said that she was injured or something, but they pulled her, and she hasn't been back all that long, maybe a month.
Right.
And that's good to protect the streak and not overexpose her. And I think it's a smart thing to do. And to bring her back and have her come back dominant and be the champion. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we get out of this.
I didn't expect it, but I was so excited when it happened.
Oh, I expect it. When they announced it last week, I'm like, yep, it's time. It's go time. It's gotta
That's
be.
good. And then Pasty, one of the most dominant women of this decade. And we even talked about this in our Beefy Awards.
I gotta ask, do you think she could be making like a subliminal statement also with that symbol on her outfit, because they pulled her, and when she came back she had it, like she was gone, and for the most part those people didn't care, you know what I mean?
I could see that.
I feel like
I didn't think of
there
it until you said that, but as soon as you said that, all I want to say is if that's true, I hope she means it in a personal way and not a shoot way, because it's a very personal matter, not a shoot matter.
Yeah.
It's not Joey Ryan's penis, which I like to see, but I'm not going to make a political stand over. But if she was like, I was gone and nobody gave a shit and now I came back, I think that would be awesome if that is what it is. I never thought about that, but yeah, Pacey, that makes perfect sense, and I could put that in there and dig it and be all for it. Sure.
Yep.
Taya Valkyrie, Pasty, we went on a limb. I think most people would say, I don't know who gave awards for of the decade, but I'm assuming everybody did because, we're not the only people out here talking about pro wrestling. But we gave Taya Valkyrie the Woman of the Decade award. And going on through this year, she's backed that up. She has been the Impact Knockouts champion for 401 days, Pasty. That's from January 6, 2019 to February 11th, 2020. Now, one thing, and I'm going to have to look this up for a second, but they kept going on and on. And this caught my ear because they sounded very WWE. The announcers in Impact were going on and on about Taya Valkyrie being the longest modern-day champion. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, and I was like, God, I can't think of it. And they didn't specifically say women. They just said modern. I was like, well, I can't really think of somebody who has. And I've been sitting thinking, and I was like, yeah, she might be the longest. But I was like, 401 days, it's a little over a year. And in today's age, that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, God, there has to have been more. And without even looking hard, somebody who is a current champion now is
Bruno
Nick
would
Aldis.
laugh at those numbers.
Yeah, that's true. But I do want to say that Nick Aldis has held the NWA title since October 21st, 2018, when he won it back from Cody. So, sorry, Taya, no. If you're talking about women's only, then yes, she's easily the longest reigning. Easily. Because
so does that mean Cody is the only other person to hold the modern NWA title? Because I think Nick Aldis was the first, wasn't he?
Nick Aldis won it from Tim Storm, and he won it from Scrap Iron Adam Pearce.
Okay.
So I want to say that Scrap Iron Adam Pearce had it when the Smashing Pumpkin bought it. And then Tim Storm won it, and then it went to Nick Aldis. That's how I believe that happened. I could be wrong. This isn't something we talked about pre-show, so I'm just shooting off the hips here. But
yeah.
I believe that's how it went. I believe it went Scrap Iron, Adam Pearce, Tim Storm, Nick Aldis.
Those are all some fucking classic-ass names. I love it.
Oh, that's a three-way. I would love to fucking watch,
Cody.
especially in like a Street Fighters match. Well, Cody, he doesn't fit in that group, but at the same time, let's say you had a street fight match with all four of them, Cody would hold his own, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He'd hold his own and maybe stand out.
I think so. He's the best when he's the underdog, isn't he?
Is he not the Shane McMahon of AEW, where it's like he might not be the best, but if you throw him a fucking special match once a year, he'll go out of his way to make you remember that match.
Yeah, I would say that until last year, and then I wouldn't want to compare anybody in a positive light to Shane McMahon because he ruined it himself last year.
Well, but he also usurped Kobe Bryant because he survived a helicopter crash, so hello.
That makes him the GOAT, right?
I mean, just saying. Oh, where are we at? Taya Valkyrie. Another thing that I wanted to mention, a huge reason that she was Wrestler of the Decade, she has been a women's champion in at least an upper indie promotion. So it's in one of the big indie promotions or a major promotion since 2015. There's not been any time there's been no gap where she has not been at least a women's champion in one of those. And her women's championship down in Mexico and in smaller promotions extends way beyond that. Taya Valkyrie is literally the prototype for the women's wrestler that we see nowadays, yes. Honestly. Back in last year, she actually got number 15 in the PWI Female 100, which is awesome. She got number 5 in Sports Illustrated Top 10 Women's Wrestler of the Year, so she made it halfway there. That was actually above Jordynne Grace that year. She's an amazing wrestler. She's done so much. Her accomplishments are great. She can't be undersold, but I also want to say it's cool that this was her time to let it go, and I'm glad that she passed it on to somebody well-deserving such as Jordynne Grace.
Yes. And if Pasty has to make a prediction here, now Taya's dropped the strap. Her man is in WWE, and I'm assuming it's going to be Miz versus John Morrison by WrestleMania. So I'm assuming Taya Valkyrie will be with the WWE by WrestleMania.
How did I find out that Miz and Morrison are teaming together? Oh, because of the Saudi Arabia show. Duh.
Yeah.
Miz and Morrison are teaming together again, Pasty.
Yes, I know.
Okay, well, I just found that out. I didn't realize there was a fucking Saudi show. You were gonna let us miss it. I was just randomly looking through some shit, and they were like, full card for Saudi Arabia show, and I was like, what? I was like, oh, I gotta add the Saudi Arabia show to our list of shows coming up, because I didn't know that was fucking coming up.
Yeah, and it's gotta hit a boiling point, because already in promos, like, John Morrison is listing himself as second string to The Miz.
Yeah.
And so, it's got
it's got to do
I'm
something.
assuming Elimination Chamber, it's going to start up. They'll probably
when it's a
both be in it.
6-man tag, I don't remember who else is in there. It's Morrison, Miz, and somebody else. Do you happen to know?
No.
No, you don't. Okay, that's fine. All right, and then Pasty, this is our Girrrl Powerrr episode, and this week, I don't know of anything major that this woman has done, but goddamn,
she got bit in the back of the neck by Shayna Baszler.
Oh, she made Shayna Baszler. There you go, Pasty. That's legit. She did, because I heard a lot about that.
They forced her to go to the doctors, and she's like,
was that this week?
Fuck this. She's like, fuck this. If I'm going to the doctors, I'm driving myself. And she got in the ambulance and drove away.
Yeah, we got a vampire angle on WWE now, which is weird, but it is what it is, and it's fine. But
it's not fine. She was so much better. I don't want her to be a vampire on the main roster.
Okay. But let's forget about Shayna Baszler, who is an amazing talent who's going to be wasted on the main roster.
It's going to be so bad.
And let's talk about somebody who hasn't been wasted in the last couple of years, who was wasted so much before. Becky Lynch. She has totally revamped women's pro wrestling for the mainstream.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes. Truthfully, Becky Lynch is the top of the ladder in the WWE women's division.
Everybody thought it was going to be Charlotte, and then Ronda Rousey came in, and everybody knew, including myself, that Ronda Rousey was going to be the mainstream women's wrestler, and it ended up being Becky Lynch. Yes. Very few people seen it coming. I'm not going to say nobody, but for everybody that says they seen it coming, 99% of you are lying. Shut the fuck up. For as much as she was shit on, nobody's seen it coming.
She has totally flipped the script since becoming the man.
She has. She was made to be a face, heel, face, heel, face, heel. They did everything they could to fuck her.
Yes.
And she still got over it. She is, and I know it hurts her. It hurts her character, and it hurts her as a person, in my opinion, to be compared to Steve Austin. But she kind of is. Stunning Steve Austin in WCW was never going to be a main eventer. He went over to WWE, and he was the ringmaster, and he was never going to be a main eventer, and he just became a main eventer, and that's what Becky Lynch did too. So we have to bust out some of her accolades within the last couple of years, especially this year. Pasty, she had the first ever main event in a women's match in WrestleMania, and she won it!
Yes!
Of course, that was
outstanding triple threat match with Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. She retired Ronda Rousey, if you think about it.
Damn near did. And that was a great match. A very entertaining, very enjoyable match. Basically, she was also in the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, and she came in at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Came in at number 2. And we're not talking about a piece of shit here. We're just saying that she was in there right from the get-go.
She also main evented the first all-women's pay-per-view in WWE.
Exactly. Evolution. I didn't even have that written down, Pace. No. You're on top of things.
I got another one, too.
Give it to me,
also
baby.
The first women's wrestler to grace the cover of a WWE video game, albeit the worst WWE video game in the history of time.
She didn't pick the game. Let's